Hi, this is Mike from ComputerX, and today I am going to show you basically how to set up a backup drive, how to set up a program to back up to that drive, and then show you how to actually lock down that drive from protection from ransomware, other viruses, and actual dental deletion. So the first step basically is what we want to do is before we do anything else, just go to your File Explorer, which will be the same as in Windows 7, 8, and 10 down here. And after that, if you scroll down, you'll see our drives listed. I have multiple drives. Um, my backup drive is not listed here yet, so we're going to go ahead and plug it in. And what we're looking for is basically a new pop-up that comes up. And as we see, backup USB drive. That was the new one, going to be our backup drive that we just plugged in. Now, if you go to a different view from this is the default Windows 10 view. You can either go to this PC or computer. If you find it on your start menu, we're going to actually go to a different view just so it's bigger. You can actually see what's going on. So anyway, so here's our backup drive, and the first thing we want to do is actually change this drive letter. Main reason is because basically if you use multiple flash drives, multiple backup drives, these drive letters can change. So we are always going to want this drive letter to stay the same. So basically the trick to doing that is changing it to drive letter Z. Basically, when you plug in drives, they get ordered in alphabetical order. Obviously, Z is the last one, so we know it's well, unless you get all the way up to drive Z, it'd be pretty crazy. But we're actually going to change this to Z. So to do so, what you want to do is go to your Start menu. For Windows 7, control panel's right here. For Windows 10, you would scroll all the way down and go to the Windows System folder, and your control panel is found in there. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is go to Administrative Tools and then Computer Management. Oh, well, let me back up one sec. This view may look different to you if you have category on. Just to find it easier, I suggest changing it to large icons, just so you can find Administrative Tools. It's right there, one of the first icons to click on. Okay, so after going to Computer Management, what we're going to do is go to Disk Management, and we'll maximize this just to see all the drives. So obviously, I have three other hard drives. This one is the backup drive we just plugged in. So like I said, what we want to do is change this drive letter. All you got to do is do a right click on it and choose Change Drive Letter and Paths. And then you want to click Change. From the drop-down menu, go all the way down to Z. And click OK. Click Yes. Okay, so we see backup USB drive. You can close out of everything after that. Okay, so basically we know now that our drive letter is going to be Z, and this is for our backup drive, and what we're going to do now is actually set up a backup program called Cobian Backup. And say yes. Now again, like from the last video, we're going to make sure we read everything. Language, that's the only option to choose, it's fine. And click Next. There's nothing about installing other software. They're just conditions from Cobian, which is fine. And you click Next. These two options can stay as they are. The volume shadow copier actually works with part of Windows with system recovery, or system restore, I should say. We'll click Next. And I always choose the option to do application auto start for the current user. You can do as a service, doesn't really matter. That's pretty much going to be for all the users. We'll just do it for the current user for now. Click next and install. And we're just waiting on it finish the installation, and program has been successfully installed. And then we can go ahead and click done. Okay, so now that we have Cobian backup installed, we can see a new icon down here, this little pinwheel icon. We're going to go ahead and set it up. So we can access it if you just double click on it. And here is the interface for setting it up. So basically, the first thing to do is go to Task and New Task. Task name, you can call it whatever you want. We'll just call it Backup. And so basically, here's some settings here to look at. What I'm going to do is uncheck Separate Backup using timestamps and differential. So basically, even though we're choosing differential, it will run, when it runs the first time, it will actually do a full backup. The times after that it runs will just back up what's new or changed. So basically we're just setting it up this way so we don't quickly fill up our hard drive. If you have a 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte, 4 terabyte, whatever, you probably do the separated backup, that's fine, and do a full. Just keep in mind of the space that you're going to be backing up, and obviously it matters how much data you're actually backing up as well. So then the next step, we're going to go to Files, and what we're going to do here is just add all our folders that we want to be backed up. So basically just similar with Windows 7 and 10, just go to your File Explorer, and what we're going to look for, don't go to the libraries, you may miss something. It's basically the definite way to always get to all the files that you're going to want backed up. So we're going to back up the files that are on our C drive. And the key is going to the users folder. Now I have multiple users here, but the current logged in user that we have here is alias XPC2. So we're going to open that. Now I have hidden folders showing as well. Some folders or programs will actually be stored in here. I know like the older Office is sort of like a hidden folder that you could actually point to actually back up. But for now, we're just going to do our usual documents, pictures, music, stuff like that. So we do the contacts, and basically all you're doing is dragging over into the source window. Internet Explorer favorites. Don't really need this. My documents, my music, my pictures, my videos. And that's pretty much good for now. Now keep in mind, you gotta be aware of where you're actually saving most of your stuff. If you're not saving it in these typical folders, a lot of people will save stuff right off their C drive and maybe in a folder, maybe not. But obviously you can drag stuff from there into this source window as well. Okay, so we got everything in this source window. Now what we want to do is add our backup drive for the destination. So we click Add Directory, and our backup drive is going to be under Computer. And remember, we labeled it Drive Z, backup USB drive. this label, actually, I pre-labeled it. It may just say local disk. It may say Seagate or the manufacturer of the company. The whole purpose also, I guess, of labeling it drive Z, we know this is going to be our backup drive if you see multiple drives here. So we click OK. Okay, so the next step is just simply setting up a schedule. What I typically do is set it for 2 days a week, mainly because it's sort of like a protection. If you notice that something's wonky going on or you think you have a virus, you don't want to back up that virus like from your downloads folder, for instance. So that at least this gives you a little bit of time to, if you do notice something and you know you're not going to have stuff backed up, of course, or viruses backed up. But of course, if you do full backups and the time and date stamp, you'll have multiple copies of stuff. So if you had the room, go ahead and set it up that way. Okay, so we're just going to do Monday, Saturday, and at 7 p.m. Typically, choose a time that you think your computer is going to be on, your backup drive. I would just say leave it connected, put it on top of your computer. Laptop a little harder, obviously, since typically move your laptop around. This does actually have advanced options. Let's see, files, add, where if you set up a backup network drive and you have that properly set up, if you go to directory, it should show up here in your Explorer window. Probably more ideal for a laptop, that way you're not disconnecting, connecting to the drive. Okay, so we got schedule, dynamics, set it to high priority, that's fine. Now this is for, again, another option though. If you want to create basically different full backups, you have the option to do that. So basically you still can use differential, but have a fixed date for a full backup as well. Archive, now you can compress your backup to save hard drive space. This process will take longer when you go do the backup. You can also encrypt your backup. So basically, if you don't want basically anyone coming across your backup drive and just perusing through what's on your backup, you can encrypt it and put a passphrase on it. Filter, basically including, excluding files. Events, you could have a program run before or after the backup. And advanced, you can leave these as is. So go back up to general, and we'll just click OK. Now, basically, I don't have much to back up. This is on a user that I just set up for demonstration purposes. But if you have hundreds of gigs, this will take a little bit to populate and tell you how much there is to back up. Okay, all right, so we're all set. So basically what you can do from here, if you can run the first full backup, if you just click run all tasks now, it'll actually do it. Or if you don't have this window open, you can right click on this little pinwheel icon and choose run all tasks now. So we'll go ahead and do that and click OK. Once this is spinning, pretty cool. Notice basically it tells you that it's doing the backup. You can actually double click on it while it's running, and there is a log file in here that basically tells you the progress of what's happening. And basically, if you see anything that shows up in red here, I've seen in the past, basically if your backup drive is failing, it won't be able to access it. You'll get an error message if, like I mentioned before, with the drive letter changing. That's why we changed it to Z. Basically, it'll look for that Z drive, and if it's something else, K or whatever letter, it won't find your backup drive. So that's why we changed it to Z.